Thank you. I now recognize Representative Barr for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Assistant Secretary Crittenbrink, I am perplexed by the Biden administration's obsession with high-level dialogue with the CCP when Beijing is clearly ramping up its hostility despite these talks. Did any Chinese official ever condition or imply that rescheduling the Secretary's trip to Beijing was conditioned on the FBI not releasing its findings of the spy balloon report? Yes or no?
Representative Barr, we never accepted any conditions on the Secretary traveling to Beijing, and we made clear that only after the Secretary visited would there be other senior level.
Does the Secretary understand, and do you understand, that the American people were very dismayed when the Secretary said that this chapter is simply closed?
Well, Representative Barr, I would say, as I mentioned to Chairwoman Kim a moment ago, the flight of a Chinese spy balloon over the United States was an outrageous and unacceptable violation of our sovereignty and territorial integrity. We took resolute steps and then we shot it down.
Yeah, Assistant Secretary, though, when you say the chapter's closed and there's no ramifications for the CCP, for them spying on our most sensitive military sites, the American people are outraged by that.
Could I make one comment, sir?
Let me ask you this question, Assistant Secretary. What tangible win did Secretary Blinken come away with from Beijing? And don't give us maintaining open channels of communication.
We're not chasing the Chinese, sir. We are focused.
You look like you are. I can tell you look like you are.
We are absolutely not
say
doing
you
that.
Are. They say you are.
Well, sir, I'm sorry, but that view is mistaken. We went to Beijing very confident in our approach to the region and to China from a position of strength. We should not underestimate the importance of trying to prevent the risk of miscalculation of conflict.
Let's assess that negotiating from a position of strength. Last Congress, I authorized the Axis Act that required state to report on the PRC's assistance to Russia with the invasion of Ukraine. The relationship between General Secretary Xi and Putin is said to have no limits. But we know China has supplied Russia with satellite imagery, gunpowder, body armor, rifles. Would you assess that the level of PRC support or transactions to sanctioned Russian entities has been significant?
Congressman, a couple of things. Again, we're pursuing a realistic,
Is it significant or not?
When it comes to Chinese support for Russia,
yes,
we've expressed our deep concern over the range of areas where they've provided support. We've taken actions to sanction Chinese entities when they have provided support to Russia, and we've continued to warn them not to provide lethal assistance to the
serious
Russian
consequences, warning them, tough talk. Where's the action? Where's the sanctions for material and lethal support by China to Russia? Where is the action?
Our assessment is they have not provided lethal assistance to the Russian military, and we have warned them.
And the media says you're wrong about that. There are customs records. Just look at the Wall Street Journal. They do a better job of uncovering material lethal assistance than the State Department.
So we're confident in our assessment, and we've taken steps against a number of Chinese entities already.
We need sanctions. On July 3rd, the State Department pulled down a proposed license for the export of defense articles to Taiwan. The State Department pulled down a proposed license for the export of defense articles to Taiwan. This happened the same day Secretary Yellen's trip to Beijing was announced. Is the State Department limiting arms sales and defense exports to Taiwan in the hopes of placating Beijing?
Absolutely not, sir. And I spoke to this earlier, and I'll need to take it back just to make sure we're talking about the same case. But I'm aware of a case 2 weeks ago, direct commercial sales case, that was mistakenly notified. It's since been formally notified. It was withdrawn, and then it's already been notified. And that had nothing to do with anything else. We don't pull our punches. We've already provided more than $5 billion worth of arms to our Taiwan partners in this administration. We're taking a range of other steps to meet our commitments. Last year, I believe we approved 13 arms sales, which is a record in 1 year.
Okay.
But we do not pull our punches, and we will not.
Okay. Has the State Department returned to its policy of bundling arms and defense exports to Taiwan to not anger China?
Absolutely not, sir, and I think the 13 arms sales last year proved that point.
Well, I think the State Department should be less focused on pulling down licenses and more focused on getting arms to Taiwan immediately. Let me ask about the competitive actions calendar in my remaining time. Since the beginning of this year, multiple high-level Biden administration officials have met with PRC officials or visited the PRC itself, including yourself. Through the course of this, the PRC has continued to commit genocide, intimidate Taiwan, hack U.S. government email accounts, But there's reporting that the State Department is intervening with other agencies to delay implementation of sanctions and export controls. Have you or anyone at State encouraged any other agency to delay implementation of a sanction or export control, yes or no?
We do not pull our punches, and we are committed to taking whatever steps we need to.
My time has expired. I don't think the Assistant Secretary answered that question. I invite my colleagues to follow up. I yield back.